Thank you. Good evening, members of the Executive Policy Committee. I do appreciate this opportunity to speak with you tonight about the 2021 City of Winnipeg preliminary budget. In particular, I'm speaking in opposition to the increase to the Winnipeg Police Service budget. Thank you to the 46 delegates who spoke before me for their knowledge and wisdom and for taking time out of their busy schedules to oppose the budget. The collective power and brilliance in this delegations list is awe-inspiring. And if it were a community learning event, it would have sold out instantly. I could start off tonight by listing to you my credentials, which show that I am indeed qualified and I am indeed an expert to the contents of my presentation. I could tell you the community groups of which I'm a part of to show you that I am not only engaged in and an active member of my community, but that I am also meaningfully working toward and materially committed to creating a better future for those around me. I could launch into my meticulously researched, well thought out presentation that challenges your idea of the concept of public safety. I could point to statistics, academic research. I could share firsthand experiences of police violence in our city. And I could even cite my own city councillor, Sherry Rollins, for her July 2020 commitment to reducing the Winnipeg Police Service budget by 10%. We could debate the statistical validity of Angus Reid poll data, your own citizen survey, or even the findings of StatsCan. But you will point to police board surveys to refute the overwhelming and persuasive fact that Winnipeggers are indeed ready to defund the Winnipeg Police Service, even as little as 10%. We could argue about which academics are qualified enough to believe. You will dismiss the work of experts who have dedicated decades of their lives in criminological and sociological research because their conclusions emphatically find that police simply do not keep people safe. But you will disagree with this truth, and you will find pro-cop academics and take their advice instead. By increasing the Winnipeg Police Service budget in 2021, you ignore the reality that Indigenous, Black, and communities of color are irrefutably subjected to violence and harm at the hands of the Winnipeg Police Service on a daily basis. I could speak to you about the senseless murders of Stuart Andrews, Jason Collins, Aisha Hudson, as well as the other two unnamed citizens who died at the hands of the police earlier this year in Winnipeg. But I'm aware that the Executive Policy Committee does not believe these murders are relevant to a budget discussion. But this is a budget which, as we all know, will see the city's highest funded department swell even further in 2021. It is not a stretch to understand this budget increase as meaning a job well done to the Winnipeg Police Service. This budget increase continues right now, in the midst of code red in a global pandemic, even with the knowledge of dozens of accounts of unmasked police officers. It is truly no wonder why the police service showcases a clear pattern of contempt and impunity. They can murder people and they can defy World Health advisories and still get an $8.5 million pat on the back from City Council. But unfortunately, with all due respect, I don't think any of the 7 members of the Executive Policy Committee are willing to listen and truly hear what I or any of my fellow delegates have to say. And I know this to be true because your words, Sherry, to defund the Winnipeg Police Service, as well as your colleagues Marcus and Vivian, have remained hollow.
If I could ask
Up
you,
until now, there have been 46 citizens of Winnipeg, your constituents.
just out of respect to the office that they hold, if you could please respect.
Great. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm done. I am done naming councillors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up until now, there have been 46 citizens of Winnipeg, your constituents, who have taken time out of their busy days to give you advice on how to improve our budget. And I say our budget because it is our taxpayer dollars that fund your salaries. You work for us and you need to listen to us. But at this point, after a year of brazen police violence and historical anti-police activism, I simply do not know what more we can do to make you listen to us. We are begging you. We are pleading with you to consider what we have to say, to consider the humanity that exists outside of a police state. It is exhausting to be consistently on the defensive in front of a committee of indifferent decision makers who are more committed to debating which statistics matter over others than they are to addressing the structure of violence that they themselves are funding with our money. We will not grow tired and we will not stop until we can all agree that Winnipeg is better off with no cops at all. And then we'll make it happen. Mayor Brian Bowman, this city is unwell. You have 2 years left of leading this city. Do you want to be known as the mayor who changed the colors of the Winnipeg sign purple for Overdose Awareness Month when you have the full authority to fund a safe consumption site? Or would you rather be known as the mayor who fought for the wants and needs of Winnipeggers and finally defunded even just 10% the Winnipeg Police Service? Maybe that 10% could even fund that safe injection site that we desperately need. As for the rest of the members, I strongly encourage you to listen to what your constituents are desperately begging you to hear. Cops do not keep us safe. We do not need more funding to the police budget. We do not need cops in schools. We do not need body cams. We do not need a chopper, and we absolutely do not need an armored vehicle. They do not prevent crime, and they certainly do not prevent police violence. They are weapons that only exacerbate violence in under-resourced communities. And as we've heard from the eloquence of previous delegates, we need a robust public transit system and forward-thinking active transportation. We need enduring support for our life-sustaining community services like libraries and parks. We need public housing, we need access to food, and we need safe consumption sites. But most importantly, we need leaders who do not just see more policing as the solution to all of Winnipeg's problems. And if you continue to ignore us, then it is clear that we simply need a new council in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank